Okay, let's see if this is working now. I'm going to hit play on mine. You should be able to see me, I believe. I hope. We will see here. I'm going to hit refresh again and see if this worked. I'm going to hit refresh. Hopefully, this is working. Hopefully, I'm live. I've got audio and video on my side. So I think everything is working now. Let's make sure here. Let me know. Okay, what about now? I'm going to say I may have to refresh. I can see you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can hear me. Lori says I can hear. Tanya says got you. All right. So I think I just figured it out. I'm pretty sure that I just started the wrong Google Hangout. So before I forget this, hold on 1 second. I need to tell my assistant something here because I broke something and I need to fix that. Hey Kathy, I think I broke the member Q&A for tomorrow because I hit start on it instead of my live attendee. So we probably need to redo that one. So I'll talk to you later. All right, got things in the moment, y'all. I do things in the moment, make sure that everything works out good for everybody. Okay. All right. So I'm actually here now. I'm super excited to be with you guys today. Thank you for joining me on our second official Q&A. I'm hoping that we get a good connection here and that everybody can see and hear me. I'm going to check one more time. All right. I have got audio and I've got sound. Super excited to be with you today. Can't wait to see what you guys accomplished last week. Want to do a quick review, and then we're going to get into some deeper discussions about Avatar and Offer. That's going to be the main focus this week as we walk through the Flip Your Life Blueprint together on our way to Flip Your Life Live. I've really planned this stuff out to be great for the beginner, for the person that's in the middle of their journey, and I've even got some advanced topics. We're going to talk about market segmentation later today. I really don't have a course about market segmentation. We touch on it in some other courses, but we haven't really gotten deep into it. So I'm going to give you guys a great exercise that you can do this week to help you really drill down inside of your email list, drill down inside of your market, so that you can market more effectively, so you can make more money, so you can speak to people in the way that they need to be spoken to. A general message is great when you first start out, but you are eventually going to have to break that up and talk to people as well. My children, if you did not see on my Facebook channel and our YouTube channel the other day, hijacked my stuff and went live on a YouTube Live the other day. And Isaac completely broke my microphone. So you can see I've got this thing rigged here with a Velcro strap. And it's barely hanging on by a thread. I'm going to have to figure out some way to like screw these things back together. So if I have some a microphone collapse on me in the middle of this presentation, please don't laugh. I'm totally blaming my children because I find that's a very successful strategy of shifting the blame. Okay. All right. So what I want everybody to do first, okay, is to post something about your idea. Okay. Some of you already have an online business. Some of you are working on an online business. Some of you may be pivoting into an online business or a different kind of online business. And last week we talked a lot about committing to an idea for the next 6 to 9 months. Okay. So it may be what you're already doing now. It may be something new that you thought up last week as you watched our idea training, as you watched the idea training for researching your idea and figuring out if it's making money online, or maybe you just got down and did some hard keyword research and you found some new things about your idea. So publicly in this safe room of Flip Your Life Live attendees, I want you to type into the chat right now something about your idea. What are you committing to for the next 6 to 9 months? What are you all in on every single day, every single minute until we show up in Lexington, Kentucky live and we get after that? All right. What did you work on last week? What did you think about last week? Post that in the chat right now. Don't be shy. I know we give lurkers a pass on our member Q&As, but we can't give you guys a pass. You guys are investing your time, your money, a time away from your families to be here. We want you to get the most out of this as possible. And sometimes at the 5th grade dance, you got to get off the wall and you got to start moving around a little bit, right? So tell me about your idea. Listen, maybe nothing changed about your idea last week. Maybe you know what you're all in on for the next 6 to 9 months, but I want to hear about it. I'm going to read a few of these too as we go, so we can just review a little bit about what we talked about last week. Okay. So Jennifer Dixon Says, I am working on an ebook and a PDF. I'm about 85% finished with the ebook. Awesome. Okay. So all in on that to promote that next thing. Shay says, I've just started working on this last year, but I'm helping women in the empty nest phase with tech issues in their online business. That is really good. I help them understand the techie pieces that trip them up. All in, Shay Harms. I want you making money by September. We've been talking for a long time. Okay, let's go. Jennifer says, I am all in with my fitness inspired yoga membership. Laura says, I am all in on promoting my membership business and growing my email list. So I always have fresh faces who need my service. That is such a good point that I'd love for everybody to listen to. Without fresh faces, the old faces eventually go away. Everybody eventually leaves you. That's just the way it is, y'all. People grow up, move out, right? Just like your kids. So you got to have fresh faces coming in. Jennifer says, I am focused totally on marketing my business. Jennifer is a part of our All Access Voxer program. And we actually talked about this the other day about not creating new things, not just keep creating forever. Like you gotta promote the stuff you've already got, right? So that's a great focus. Jason said, pressure washing business, training, working on getting the videos done for the training. Yes, if you don't have a product, you can't make money. That's a great focus. If you can get those done, man, I'd love to see you launch that, Jason, before Flip Your Life Live. Last year, we did a little challenge at the end of like June or July last year where we really pushed people to get their product out there. Even if it wasn't perfect, even if it wasn't any good, it didn't matter, right? Like, don't put too much time into that. We just want to see if we can make some sales. And so, man, try to get that launched before we get there. Shelly says, I'm creating a membership community of solo full-time travelers. That's interesting. I wouldn't be a solo traveler because Jocelyn and me go together, but I'd love to read more about that because we love to travel. Anita from Switzerland says, a podcast leading to a membership for Wise Women's Workplace. Good. A podcast. Okay. So that's another thing. And if you're thinking about launching a new content stream, that's another great thing to roll out. Set a goal before the event to have 20, 30 of those done or whatever, however much you want to do, and try to get that rolling so you can have some data coming in because we're going to learn a lot about how to promote that stuff. And the main focus at Flip Your Life Live is going to be sales and traffic. Right? Sales and traffic, getting more podcast listeners, getting more website visitors, getting more YouTube viewers, and making sure those people convert, right? So the more data, the more information you have coming in, the better we're going to do that. And when I say sales, I don't just mean like money. Like me and Jocelyn have to sell our podcast every week. Like if you follow us over on Facebook, you probably notice like we boost a lot of posts. We sometimes we'll share our Facebook link and just boost it for 3 or 4 days. Like we're constantly selling people to do what we want them to do, which is like listen to our podcast, sign up for live events, come to the community. Like it's not just selling your products that we're going to be talking about. It's selling your brand and selling, all the things around it. Like you got to sell your lead magnet. Like they're not just going to sign up because you offer it with an email opt-in box, right? So the more data you have, the more stuff like that. Awesome. Shay says she is all in. I know you are. I'm going to hold you accountable to this too. All right. Let's see. Tanya says, getting more members. Women with low self-image learning to love themselves, feel loved by others, and walk in what God has for them. Awesome. All in. Chris is all in on getting his first online course launched. You're going through the blueprint here, Chris. This is perfect for you, man. We're going to finish up like a month out when we start doing icebreakers. So you should have that product done and launched and ready by the time we get to Flip Your Life Live. Okay. All right, let's see if I missed anything. Solana says, I was working on helping women in their 30s to get married and have a baby in a short period of time. However, I discovered a new idea. That's why we do the idea trainings, which was searching for my severe sinusitis. Is that how I say that? Issue. Breathing normalization based on work. Oh, cool. So it can be. So this is a pivot for Svetlana. This is a pivot into a new thing. Again, perfect opportunity to pivot here. Going through the blueprint together. The main reason we're doing this is accountability every week. Shane's looking for you, right? Every single Monday or Tuesday. Sometimes, just depends. But that's awesome. Great time to be pivoting if you're doing something different. Lori says, I have 3 online businesses I'm going to work on right now. I know. All right. To replace my income as a paralegal. Let's see. I lost my place. Where'd it go? Oh, to replace my income as a paralegal, become a Kartra ninja. I have been reading some amazing things about Kartra, and I have a buddy of mine in a mastermind group that just switched from Infusionsoft to Kartra. Now, I'm terrified to switch anything but he's doing it and he loves it. So that's a good thing to get in. I think they're kind of up and coming right now. Business consultant, starting my Yosemite Mom blog. Even though we are not moving to Yosemite just yet, this is to have a place to talk about my growth and my special needs son. Cool. And my idea of membership is helping other paralegals. Okay. My main thoughts are pick one to focus on heavily. The mom blog, like that's more of a passion side project. You know, I've got other things that I talk about and do online too, right? Like I've got some things that, you know, I update sometimes. I don't update all the time. Like Flip Lifestyles are our main thing, Lori. If you have 3 ideas like that, like I don't think I'd count the mom blog. I would just do that as your outlet and see where it takes you. But you might want to pick one of the other 2 things. You know what I'm saying? Like just to make it happen. Okay. All right. Let's see. And then Clark says, just finished my lead magnet, now focusing on setting up my site on Kajabi. Clark is also in our Voxer one-on-one mastermind program, and he's killing it, getting stuff done. Okay. All right. Great job on your idea training last week. If you didn't catch that, all the trainings are below the chat, so you can go back and watch those again. Highly recommend that you do the blueprint in the order that I'm laying out for you here in this program and use these weekly meetings as accountability. This is accountability. Show up. Look at the people in the chat room. Last week, a couple weeks ago, we talked about reaching out to people that are coming to Flip Your Life Live. Look for those people, like the people that you reached out to. If they're not in the room today, and give them a day, because some people will come back and they'll watch it on the replay, right? That's why I'm kind of shifting between like 12 and 9 to kind of give different people in different time zones a chance to kind of catch what we're doing here. You know, but if you don't see them or you don't see them coming through the thing, reach out to them, reach out to somebody, find a buddy. You know, it's just like working out. Like, hey, did you go to the Shane's training on Monday? Oh, where were you? What happened? Oh, well, watch the replay. Tell me when you watch the replay, and you hold me accountable too, right? Like, you know, I committed that I'm all in and I'm focusing for the next 6 to 9 months on this idea. Like if you see me straying and chasing shiny objects and I'm squirreling out here on the street, like you get me and pull me back in. Okay. So like pick a buddy and make sure you show up each week. All right. All right. So this week, what we're going to break down is avatar and offer. Okay. So in the Flip Your Life Blueprint, which let me show you where this is. Let me get there first. Then I'll flip back over. All right. So I'm going to share my screen for just a second. I do not have any slides or anything today. Also, if you didn't watch my new training last week that I launched, you need to go back and watch that because I'm really pumped up about that training. And I'm actually going to turn it into a live presentation at some point. All right. So I'm going to screen share. We're going to go over here. And you should be seeing my screen at any second now. A little delay. I just want to make sure. I'm going to catch back up here. Let me type this in. Can you see? All right, I can see my screen, so I'm assuming you can too. Okay. All right. So Flip Your Life Blueprint. All right. So if you scroll down here, there are 2 critical things that everyone needs to do. And I don't care if you're a beginner or if you've been doing this 100 years. Like I say this all the time, but about every 3 to 6 months, Jocelyn and I go through the avatar process again, and we go through the offer process again. It's how we come up with new ideas like free trials. It's how we come up with new products like live events or our one-on-one Voxer program, right? So this is not something you do once and you're done forever. Like the avatar and offer process should always be evolving in your business. If you are someone who has a business and you've plateaued, it's because you're doing the same thing and expecting different results. You need to go back and evaluate your avatar and your offer. Okay. So here's the courses. You can skip ahead a little bit on some of these. If your spouse is on board, skip that one, right? And you can go straight to avatar and offer. These are the 2 courses I would really like for you to watch this week. All right. So I'm going to go back real quick and I'm going to add some things that will help you go through this process. All right. Let me see if I can hit stop here. All right. Back on. All right. Let me get back to my chat box over here too, so I can see what y'all are saying. If you have any questions as we're going along, let me know. Okay. All right. So the avatar, for those of you who are really new, is the customer. It's the perfect customer. It's your imagination. If you were drawing out a picture of your perfect customer, if you were writing a description of your perfect customer, then this would be the person that comes in, right? So like in a really simple example, if you are selling Little League baseball bats, then your perfect customer is the parent of a Little League baseball player, right? You can go deeper into demographics, like maybe you only target your marketing at parents with Little League baseball players who are between the ages of 28 and 42. Maybe it's a certain socioeconomic, demographic. Maybe it's only people who make more than $75,000 a year and their kid is in travel ball, because I sell the baseball bat and then I sell a travel bag, right? So that's like what we're talking about here when we talk about avatar. It's the person who is most likely to buy your product. And it's really important in the beginning to have one avatar. Like that's how you're going to find your first 100 people, not marketing to 5,000 different kinds of people. You're going to find one group, one people that is your people. That's your people, right? So when Jocelyn and I started the Flip Your Life community, our initial marketing was really, really tight. We really, really targeted our content. We targeted our marketing. We targeted this product at people who were married, working 9 to 5, who had kids that were younger than 10 years old, between the ages of like 30 and 40. Okay. The reason that we did that, right? The reason that we did that is because we wanted that kind of we wanted the tightest. We wanted to be able to speak the language of that person. Now we have expanded. We have expanded farther out. Like now we have different segments. Our avatar is we consider bigger now. We usually go between 25 and like 49 to 59. So it depends how we're doing it, right? So we have some ads that are targeted toward empty nesters. Your kids getting ready to graduate from high school or college, and you're leaving, right? That's a different attitude or a different avatar than someone who is, 29 years old and they have a 2-year-old, right? So we have to speak to different people. But in the beginning, we targeted one specific person. And our other businesses, my football coaching playbook business, I targeted only high school coaches who were at schools, small schools of less than 50 people on the football team, right? And who had specifically had a losing season in the year before that. Like it was really narrow. And then only defensive coordinators. That's who I targeted. I wanted defensive coordinators. I didn't talk about offense. I didn't talk about special teams. I didn't talk about anything else in the beginning except running a defense at a school where you have less than 50 players and they're all slow, right? So you can play defense, okay? I targeted people with losing records because I wanted people who I knew would want to improve and not just learn something new, okay? Jocelyn, she has a master's degree in what's it called? Library media specialists. Okay. So Jocelyn is actually trained to be like a librarian in, a public library and a high school and a middle school and an elementary school. It didn't matter. But at the time, she was in elementary school. She was in a school was only like kindergarten through 5th grade. So we picked elementarylibrarian.com like that. We narrowed down and we said, and we had middle school librarians in the beginning asking us for plans. We had high school librarians asking us for stuff, and we just didn't even talk to them at the very beginning. We had one avatar. It was elementary librarians. She only made lessons up to 5th grade, and that is all she targeted. And because until you find all of them, why would you go sell to anybody else, right? If there's, 60-something thousand elementary librarians in all the elementary schools in America, or however many elementary schools there are, and you've only sold the 500 of them, why does it make sense to make anything new or go after a new person? There's still, 67,500 more librarians. Just go sell the same thing to all those other people in the market, right? So that's why you want to really like narrow down your avatar. You really want to know who you're talking to, because it is going to dictate and determine every word that comes out of your mouth, everything that types through your fingertips for the next 6 to 9 months. Like it's your podcast, your YouTube channels, your content, all of that needs to speak to an individual, right? The person on the other line needs, when they're listening to you, when they're reading your stuff, they need to feel like you're talking to them, okay? Your marketing is going to speak to a certain person. It's not going to say works for everybody. It's going to say works for this kind of person, right? So as you're creating your avatar, it will help you to design your product, because you can't just make your product that solves the problem you solve for everybody. You got to figure out like who it's for, like who is it for first, and then you make the product for that person. Okay. So the thread that unites your problem and your avatar, or I'm sorry, your product and your avatar is the problem you solve. You might want to write some stuff down today, guys, because I'm going to give you 5 questions that you really need to answer. And these are not in the videos. They're not in the trainings. Okay. All right. So the common thread between the avatar and the product is the problem. Okay. What problem do you solve? That is the most important question. Not who's going to buy it, not what's going to be in your course. What problem do you solve? Jocelyn solved a time problem for elementary librarians. Librarians would leave school, they'd get home at 4 o'clock, and they'd have 2 hours of lesson prep, and they'd miss dinner with their kids, and they didn't get any quality time with their family and whatever. So she solved a time problem. Almost all problems are time or money related. Okay. You may teach people how to change a tire, right? But you're going to save them the time from having to worry about it. Okay. You may teach people, swimming lessons, how to swim or whatever. Okay. But the problem is you're going to keep them from drowning. Like, what is the problem that you actually solve? Okay. For us here at Flip Lifestyle, the problem we solve is this: people want to make money online and work from home. We show you how to do that. That is the problem we solve. You don't like where you are, or you want something different. You want to do it online, right? I don't care if you're selling physical products. I don't care if you're selling digital products. I don't care if you have a membership or a coaching program. You want to sit at your house, get on the computer. People send you money for stuff you do on the computer, and then you go live your life. Like, that is the problem we solve. We help people make money online and work from home. Okay. There are other problems that we have found that we can solve for people broken in that, but that's the key component. That's why we've designed the Flip Your Life community, the Flip Your Life blueprint the way it is, because we've got to take people step by step, the process to start making money online, then make enough money online to work from home, to become and stay self-employed. Okay. All right. So the first question, before you even go into the avatar training, right, is what problem can and will you solve? Okay. If you know that, comment on it right now. Put it in the chat box. Like, say it in a sentence. Like, what problem do you solve? Don't tell me what you're selling. Well, I sell shirts, or I sell that. No, I don't care about your course. I don't care about the membership area. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about that yet. What actual problem do you solve? How do you fix something for someone? How do you do that? Like, what is the problem that you solve? Okay. Now, I'm not seeing a lot of work in this chat room right now. I'm not seeing a lot of comments in this chat room right now. So some of you are thinking like, oh man, I got to solve a problem. I thought I just made a course and did some marketing and everything worked out fine with my sales funnel. I'm only one funnel away. It's what everybody tells me. No, what is the problem that you solve for someone? Okay. All right. So that's step 1. What is the problem? Write that down. If you got a piece of paper, you got a Post-it note, got a gum wrapper and a pen, I don't care. Just write it down. Okay. What is the problem? All right. Now, I want you to do this before you go through the avatar and offer training again. It's going to make things 100 times more clear. All right. Jennifer said I was a slow typer. All right. I'm watching you, Jennifer. I'm watching you. All right. Number 2, ask yourself this: why do they have that problem? Okay. We've got to know the problem deep and know the avatar deep before we can ever move forward with actually selling someone a product. Okay. So why is this a problem? Okay. So I looked at my football playbooks and I said, okay, what is the problem? The problem is football coaches are losing the majority of their games, right? Over half the teams in the country at every level will have a losing season every year. Okay. So the problem is they're losing. That's the problem. The problem isn't a scheme or a drill or anything like that. The problem is they lose. They go home on Friday night. They feel terrible about themselves. They wake up Saturday morning and they can't take their kids to the park because they're still depressed about the loss the night before under those Friday night lights. I've been there many times. Okay. So that was the problem. They're losing. So the next thing I had to ask myself was, why are they losing? Okay. I looked internally. I said, why in the past, in the coaches I coached, why did I lose? Why did we lose? Why did we lose? Okay. Why was this happening? Usually it was because our defense wasn't good enough. Okay. There's a lot of reasons why the defense wasn't good enough. Maybe the scheme was too complicated for the level of kids that I had. Maybe my kids were just overweight and slow, and I couldn't get them in shape because they wouldn't show up at the weight room and they wouldn't run hard during sprints. Maybe that was it. Maybe I just had bad players. Maybe I had unathletic players and I just didn't know. And then maybe it was because my knowledge as a coach wasn't good enough. All right. So those are some reasons why they were losing, but they were all related to defense. And I knew that defense was the main reason. That's how you win championships, but it's also how you lose games. So I had narrowed my focus. This was the actual problem I was going to solve. I'm going to help them not lose by giving them a defense that will work better at a school with less athletic, less talented players. That now clarified what I needed to create, what information I needed to find. Okay. So I want you to ask yourself right now. You just said, what is the problem? A lot of you have typed it in here. I see a bunch of them. Why do they have that problem? Why is that a problem? Why, Svetlana, why did women in their 30s, why are they having trouble finding a husband? Are they just career oriented? They haven't put the time into it? Like, why? Why is that a problem? Okay. And don't think about 3 or 4 reasons, but you're going to narrow down on one. Okay. Why can't people use Kartra? Right. Okay. Well, Shay, here's a great one. So Shay is trying to create a course to help empty nesters, women who are going to be having trouble with technology. Why is this a problem? Because they didn't grow up with technology. Okay. So you're going to have that changes the way that Shay will teach the content because she knows why. They didn't grow up with it. They're not familiar with it. So maybe that's the first thing I've got to do is I've just got to get them familiar with the technology. I've got to give them a crash course. One of the things I always want to do with my kids, that they're getting old enough to do it now, is I've got this list of movies that I really want my kids to watch. Like, I do not want my kids to not see all the Indiana Jones movies from the 80s. I do not want them to miss all the Star Wars movies. I do not want them to grow up and never have watched The Goonies or E.T. Like, that's just happening in my house. We're getting retro on the movie script. Okay. So I want that to happen. Like, I want that to happen. But you write that down. Like, I can show them 2 of those a week and get them caught up by the time they're 18, right? See all these classic movies that we've all, we grew up with. Plus the new ones, they can watch the new ones. We go to the movies all the time. But I want them to see the old ones too. I want them to see the good ones. And I want them to see them now before they get too old and the special effects don't last. They don't hold up so good, right? Okay. So, but that's the same thing. When you say, why do they have this problem? It tells you what to do next. It tells you about your lead magnet, which is a product. It tells you what the first lesson of your product is. The first product is not log in and start doing stuff. Like, if you're teaching WordPress, the first product is not how to set up your first WordPress blog in 10 minutes. It's, let me explain to you what WordPress is, because you don't know it. Why? You've never heard of it before. Okay. So the first question you've got to ask yourself before you figure out your avatar and your product is, what is the problem? The second thing is, why do they have this problem? Okay. And you can do this list every time when we created Flip Your Life Live, we said, what's the problem? People aren't connecting in person. Okay. Why do they have this problem? Because they're all spread out. What are we going to do about it? We made a live event. Okay. All right. Next, when do they experience this problem the most? When do they experience this problem the most? When? You've probably heard us on the podcast before say, know your avatar's schedule. Know your avatar's calendar. Know when they are doing things. Know pop culturally, like what is happening right now, so that you can become a part of their life. If you know when that person experiences the problem, then you can market to them to, pour salt in the wound and exasperate the pain. If you know when they're not experiencing the problem and maybe they have some clarity and they have time to think about a solution, you can present the solution to them. Okay. Like, we knew that elementary librarians were having the most trouble on Sunday nights. You got the weekend, you got your kids' sports, you got all these things happening. You don't plan your lesson. And then guess what happens? On Monday morning, you've got to go to work and you're not prepared and you don't have lessons and you don't have anything ready to go. So guess what? We had webinars on Sunday night. We have found that's a great night for this audience as well, because most of our people are working 9 to 5s. They're experiencing the pain of the 9 to 5. They're coming home on the weekends. They don't want to go back to work. Well, if I can catch you on a Sunday night, then you're hating work tomorrow. I'm showing you there's another way. Let's get started so you don't have to do that forever, right? When do they experience the problem? Know your avatar's calendar. Know your avatar's schedule. For example, let's go back to Shay's audience. So they have the problem. They haven't grown up with technology. We know why this is happening. They can't use technology as good as they wish they could, or they're always asking their kids to do things. Okay. When is that the biggest problem, right? For my mom, who's older, like when is usually about 9:30 at night when she can't figure out something on Facebook, right? And she calls me to figure out what's wrong on Facebook. How do I share this picture? How do I get this picture from a message to the Facebook feed? What does this smiley face mean? Is this a real person who's trying to add me as a friend? Like she just doesn't know, but she's always asking me these things. When? It's at 9 o'clock at night. That's when she's struggling with it the most. Okay. So know when they experience the problem. That'll help with your marketing later. Okay. All right. Now we're getting into some deep stuff here. Okay. So the next one is, how are they currently dealing with the problem, right? How are they currently dealing with the problem? This is a lot of times where your competition research takes place, okay? This is where you do a Google search and you look for other courses. You look for, other things, other events, other things that they're maybe buying the solution, right? Like you think about the weight loss niche. Like, how are people doing it? Well, they're buying courses, they're joining gyms, they're hiring a personal trainer. Like, how are they currently dealing with the problem? Some of the answer here, maybe no, they're not. If you find one where they're not dealing with it, right, you need to figure out why they're not dealing with it. Maybe they're scared. Now you have to worry about an objection. You got to get that obstacle out of their path. Okay. But you need to know how they are currently dealing with the problem. And the best way to find that out is to research other courses. Okay. When I did our idea course, okay, the idea update, we already had a course. It had been in there for like 2 years, but I added those 2 other courses to the idea level. I went out and I purchased probably about $500 to $600 worth of other courses from people who we compete with to look at their course. I paid them, I bought them, I watched them, and I just wanted to see what they were doing. Like, how were they helping a similar customer deal with the problem that I'd found for this person, that I can solve for this person? And that gave me insight into how I wanted to teach it. What were they doing right? What were they doing wrong? And I created new courses to kind of match that up and be competitive. All right. So how are they currently dealing with the problem? If they're not dealing with it, you have to focus on fears and obstacles. That's how you get someone to buy your product. You have to remove all the fears and obstacles. Why do you think we talk about that on our podcast every single week? Because that's what holds most people back, is fears and obstacles. If someone's not dealing with an issue, there is a fear or an obstacle in their way. Fears are internal, obstacles are external. So you've got to figure out what that is. You've got to remove the roadblocks. Okay. If they are already dealing with it, then you've got to go out and you've got to research your competition, and you got to make sure that you're helping them do it in an effective way too. Okay. All right. Next, I think we're on number 5. What can you do to help them? What can you do to help them? All right. This is where you start getting those first ideas of creating your products, right? This is how you figure out how to get people to the next step. What is the next step? Is it just recognizing the problem? Is it removing fears and obstacles? Maybe you need a course on that. Maybe you need a course on, going and actually doing the thing that solves the problem. Okay. Maybe you've identified that all you have to do to help them is make them aware of you. Maybe it's just running more ads, more awareness. There is a thing here that you can buy that will solve your problem, physical or digital, doesn't matter. Okay. What can you do to help them? That's what you need to write down. Some of you are going to say, man, the only way I can actually help this person with this solution is to work with them one-on-one. Okay, then do that. Some of you are going to look down and say, well, the only way that I can help this person with this product, now that I understand why they have it, now that I understand when they have it, now that I know what they've tried to do about it, I need to create something that is new, an invention, a physical product, whatever. I got to create something and get it in their hands. Okay. Maybe, and some of you are just going to say, man, I just need to make a course. If I make a course for these people, everything's going to work out perfect. Maybe you just need to offer accountability, like, and a membership. type thing. Like, right? See, there's not many kinds of products, guys. It's just you figuring out, once you understand what the problem is, once you understand why they have the problem, once you understand when they experience the pain from the problem, once you figure out how they've already tried to deal with it, then you can easily figure out what you need to do to help them. It may not be that big a deal. I've had people go through this process working with them one-on-one, and at the end of it, they were planning out this 42, course thing, master's class on everything. And really, it was just like, man, if I just do a 30-minute course on this and charge $100 for it, that person's problem solved. And then you get to solve the next problem, which is more money. They get to pay you again, right? Memberships are built this way. In month 1, we're solving a couple problems. When we get those done and dealt with, we're going to do the next problems. Last week, we solved the idea problem. This week, we're solving the avatar and offer problems, right? Next week, we're going to solve something else. So that's how memberships are built. You solve a series of problems on a journey to get someone to a destination, okay? That's all a membership is, all right? And the final thing that you need to ask yourself is, who has this problem? This is where you actually start writing down your avatar. This is where you take the avatar course. This is where you go deep and you say, who is this person? How old are they? Where do they work? Where do they live? How old are they? Like how many people are in their inner circle? How many kids do they have? What kind of college degree do they have? All those demographic things. That's where you ask that question. Who is it? Okay. But that doesn't happen until you know all those other things. Okay. So I'm going to reread the list to everybody. I think there's some questions. I've seen a lot of talk. If you have any questions, go ahead as I'm going to go back through the list in order and go to make sure that everybody gets it written down, or if you watch the replay later, you can write it down. Okay. If you have any questions about any of that, I'll try to, there's so much activity. I'm not sure if I'm going to find them all though. All right. But here's the order you got to do things in before you ever look at the avatar course. Okay. Ask yourself these 6 things. 1, what is the problem? What is the problem that I can solve for somebody else? Okay. All right. 2, why does this person have that problem? 3, when do they experience the problem? When do they feel the most pain? You got to know that question, guys. You have to know that. You have to understand your avatar schedule. Okay. If you don't learn anything else today, know that. All right. 1, 2, 3. Number 4, how are they currently dealing with the problem? And then in parentheses, put competition. Okay. All right. Number 5, what can you do to help them? What can you do to help them? This is usually where you start feeling out your product, what you're going to actually offer people. And then we answer the question, who is it? Who is it? Who is this person? That's when you take the avatar course, you go through that all completely, and you write out a customer profile. You name them. Hey, Jim, my 35-year-old dad who is a lawyer of 3 kids, of whatever. That's when you get really specific and you start speaking to your avatar in all of your ads. Okay? All right. All right. Before we get into market segmenting, I'm going to look back through here and see if we've got any questions. And I'm going to get a drink. All right. Y'all having fun? Lunchtime? Everybody on lunchtime right now? I'm having a blast. These get me really fired up. I'm so glad that we're doing these. I may just do them forever. All right. So let's see. I saw a lot of questions back here, but I think everybody's kind of answered them. Let's see. See some talk about my movies. People are writing their why. Oh, you guys are writing your whys and your wins and your whats and your hows all through here. Nice. Okay. I see that, but if I log into FLS later, where is it in the sidebar? Okay, Cynthia, there's a question here about how to watch this replay again. Okay. And then Raj, I see yours too, bro. I'll get you just in a second. This is the only link to this page. There is no sidebar link. There is no picture. There is nothing. Like the email I send you with the link to this and the password to this page is the only way to get here. This is only for current Flip Your Life Live attendees. Okay. That's why I sent an email today. Don't be sharing your password. Don't let other people watch this. You paid the money. You're putting in the time. This is yours. This is a special exclusive thing that only you get. And this link is the only place they will ever live. Okay. Right. So like you have to save that email, bookmark this link if you want to, and write down the password somewhere to make sure that you can get to this page. But it is not in the Flip Your Life community. There's no way to get here except for typing it in or clicking out of that email. Okay. All the videos that I'm using, I'm broadcasting live right now using YouTube, but it is private. You can't even watch it on YouTube or anywhere. Okay. This is just for you guys. All right. So you cannot find that anywhere. Okay. Raj says, what are your thoughts on making them aware of the potential problem and offer them a way to address that before it happens? Okay. This goes back into what Jocelyn says a lot on the podcast about aspirins and vitamins. Most people will not act on a problem until it becomes a problem. Okay. Um, Prevention, that's good. It works. I mean, we want them to, we would love for that to happen, right? But that's more like a vitamin. You take your vitamin C so you prevent getting sick. What most people do is they forget their vitamin C and they wait till they get sick and then they go buy the NyQuil, right? And they deal with it. Okay. The best people to market to are people who already have the problem. You never want to be educating a populace about a new problem that doesn't make sense. Okay. We can barely keep up with all the information that's coming out at us anyway. So, I don't market to everyone in the world and say you should try to make money online and work from home. I already look for people who want out. We want people who are searching for an answer to that problem. If people are not searching for your problem, then you got a problem. Like those are the people you want to target. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not going to target, like say that I have a pregnancy niche. Say there's a niche for, I don't know, some babies being born and I don't know what kind of diapers they have, right? I'm not going to target people who are, in their, 20s and not pregnant, right? You would only target mothers who have actually had their babies and they have babies between the ages of 0 and 3, right? Because that's what you're selling. You're selling them that information about how to pick the right diaper or whatever. So like don't target people that don't already have the problem, right? Find the people that have the problem who are looking for a solution and they will give you money. They have to give you money because they want this problem, right? Like if I'm driving around on the highway and let's say that I charge people $50 to change their tire, right? Well, I'm not going to pull into a parking lot and go up to a guy that says, hey, you've got tires. It may go flat at some point. So you probably will need me. So maybe call me if you have a flat. Like that's maybe part of your message. But like really what I'm going to do is drive up and down. I'm going to be looking for somebody that's out with a flat tire. And I'm going to get out and say, hey, you know how to change that? And they're going to say, nope. I'm going to say $50. I'll do it for you. Okay. I got to go somewhere. So like that's the Hello, 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 hello.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 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 1, 2, 3.
Hello, 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 hello.
You got it.
Testing.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, what about now? Can you hear me now? What about now? Can you hear me now? Ah, okay. I think you can hear me now, right? Everybody good? Everybody good? All right. What did you hear last? Tell me what you heard last. What did you hear last? And I'll start there. What was I saying? Somebody tell me what we were saying. I just didn't know what I was saying. Huh? What was I saying? All right. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Aspirin. Okay. So let's go back to Raj's question. I'll just start that over. Okay. Let me go back to Raj's question. We've got plenty of time. All right. Let's see here. All right, Raj, what are your thoughts on making them aware of the potential problem and offer them a way to address it before it happens? Okay. So you heard the tire analogy. Okay. Okay. The tire analogy. We got the tire analogy. Okay. Aspirin thing, tire. You want to sell to people that already have the flat tire. There's my whole point in that whole thing. If you go up to someone and say, hey, can I change your tire? And they don't have a flat tire, they're not going to let you change it. You can say all you and that.
All right. I'm going to try my microphone here. I'm going to try just the default microphone. I'll turn my microphone off. Let's see if this works.
All right. I'm going to try my microphone here.
I think you can hear
try
me.
just the default microphone. I'll turn my microphone off.
Gotcha.
Let's see if this works. All right. I'm going to try my
All right. So can you hear me now? Okay. So I'm guessing my kids totally broke this microphone. All right. I'm still going to act like I'm talking to the microphone because it makes me feel comfortable. Okay. All right. If it happens again, I'll switch back to this one. We'll just keep going back and forth. It doesn't matter. All right. All right. Now, the story I was telling after the tire was about educating your actual customer. Your customer is usually, you like that? That's custom made. The actual customer usually will not know how to describe their problem. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example here. A couple weeks ago, we found out that my brother has cancer. Okay, very scary. My other brother is actually with him right now at a doctor appointment, and we're going to learn what stage his cancer's in to have that. Okay, so you know, it's a really serious situation, and it's very scary, like the kind of cancer he's got. But he did not know exactly what the problem was. He couldn't figure out what was causing all the problems, right? So over the last year and a half, some symptoms started creeping up, right? He started losing weight, but it was kind of like a regular losing weight, and he wasn't really he was eating less, so it kind of coincided with that. But at the same time, he started having pain in his jaw, right? And he couldn't figure out why. And there was no other symptoms. Nobody could figure it out, nothing. Well, then he got like a little knot, like right here on his neck. But at the time, it was just, he didn't think anything about it. He thought, well, I just got like an ingrown hair, or, you know, there was something hard there, but it didn't really feel like anything was bothering him, right? Well, over time, the symptoms started getting worse. This started getting a little bigger. It started pushing on his tongue. His speech started getting a little different. And he realized that he had a problem. He had a bad problem, okay? Well, he went to the doctor, and the doctor diagnosed the problem that he already had. And now we know the solution. The solution going forward is figure out what it is, figure out how the radiation works, figure out how the chemotherapy works. Like, we have the solution now because the doctor gave him the solution. He explained to him and brought the problem into focus. That's your job. Sometimes you do have to find the person and explain to them what the actual problem is. They know they have a problem. They feel there's a problem, but they need you, just like the doctor with my brother, to help them figure out clarify the problem and solve it, right? Like, you may be driving beside somebody on the road and you look over and you see their tire is actually going a little flat, but maybe it's a bumpy road and they don't know it. So, you know, you kind of honk your horn, you roll down your window, and you say, hey, your tire is going flat, pull over and I'll help you. They don't know why, you know, they're looking around, they're a young kid, they don't know why they're bumping. It's a flat tire, bro, pull over, I'll help you with that. I can help you with that, but you didn't know what the problem was, so I'm telling you what it is, okay, Raj? So, like, that's basically the main way that you have to communicate. You don't want to educate people about a problem they could have. You want to find someone with the problem. If they know what it is, they're closer to buying the product already. But you may need to clarify their symptoms and diagnose the problem so that they understand what you understand, right? But they're going to be looking, you know. If you got something wrong with your head, you know, and you got a headache, you're going to type in headaches, but something else causes that. So you're going to find the people that are searching for headaches, okay? All right, appreciate all the thoughts and prayers, guys. It's all good. My brother's a fighter, and I have no doubt that he'll beat it to death. So it's all good stuff, okay? All right, so let's go into the marketing segmenting part. So this is a little bit more advanced. If you're already overwhelmed, don't be. You know, just answer your problems, answer your problem questions. Go watch the avatar training, and then go watch the product training this week. You're going to knock that out. Really, on paper, know the answers to these questions, your avatar, and what your product needs to look like. When I say product, I'm always talking about your lead magnet, and I'm always talking about the product you sell. Okay, there's two parts to your product: the lead and the sell. The lead and the sell. If you can do those two things, you're going to make some money. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about market segmenting. So some of you, all right. Now I don't want you doing this in the beginning. Listen to me. If you are not making money online right now, or you don't have X number of customers, you know, like if you're not making enough money to pay your car payment right now or your mortgage, you probably do not need to do this right yet. Okay. Let's get you to the point where you can make your car payment and your mortgage, and then we'll go do these other things to blow it up. Right. Okay. But you can listen. It's good to know. It's good to keep it in the back of your mind. Don't worry about, you know, don't worry about it. Just don't do these things yet. Okay. I'm going to have 2 separate calls to action at the end of this call today. All right. First, segmenting is when you break your audience like into pieces. Okay. And it's really, 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 really super important later as your list grows. You got to be able to segment your list. Now, many of you have heard me say many times, hold on a second, I zoomed in on my chat box and now I can't read it. All right. Many of you have heard me say that I email my list every day, right? I actually sent 3 emails today, okay? Some of you probably got at least 2 of them. I doubt you got all 3, okay? You might have got all 3. It just depends on how I've got you tagged and segmented in my list building stuff, okay? All right, so I sent 3 emails today, but I didn't send them to every single person on every single list every time, right? I sent an email to Flip Your Life members asking a question today. I posted in the forums. If anyone had any questions about lead magnets, Jennifer got 2. I sent 3, okay? Anybody in the forums, I said, hey, come in here and ask me a question about lead magnets. If you go right now into the Flip Your Life community and you click on general forum, one of the top posts is going to be that thing I posted this morning, because the next keyword that I have decided that I really, really, really want to target on YouTube is the term lead magnet. I want to dominate that term. Okay, so I'm going to make a whole playlist about different keywords that I've found relating to lead magnet, but I wanted to get questions from the community today, and I can kind of weave those in. So I kind of kill two birds with one stone. I help people solve their problem in the community, and I create new content, which is going to get new eyeballs, which is hopefully going to be more members. Okay. All right. Now, so that's one segment. That was just to members. And then I sent another one to just live event attendees. Hey, here's the password. Here's the link. Let's go. And then I sent one to a big general list this morning. It was kind of a catch-all. It was a bigger list of people who were coming to Flip Your Life Live or had shown interest to Flip Your Life Live, right? And when I sent that out, I said, hey, we're doing a training today. You really need to be at that. Reminder to all the ticket holders, you're going to get a username and password. Keep an eye out for that email. Oh, but for those of you who are thinking about coming, you are missing out. You've got some serious FOMO. You've got some bad problems because you're missing all these awesome weekly trainings. You're missing this accountability, right? So I sent 3 different emails, but they were all the different segments of my list. So you really want to segment your lists the deeper you go, okay? So I'm going to give you some tips on how to do this and how we do it, all right? And I'm going to tell you some different I'm going to give you some examples of segmenting categories, but they're really infinite. Your list is going to be segmented differently than my list, different than Jocelyn's list, different than Steve or Shay's or Jennifer's or anybody's list. It's all going to be different, okay? Right? So let's make sure that we understand that. All right, so the first and easiest way, like if you're just to this point where you're like at a plateau, you're making good money, you can pay your bills with your money that you're making online, but your sales have slowed down, it's probably because you're not segmenting your list by skill level, okay? One of the earliest things in that we always did in all of our businesses was separating our list by skill level. The easiest way to do this is beginner, intermediate, and advanced, okay? You can tell this by things they click on, all right? We have different tags for almost every link in our system, right? So and we have categories. So if you click something like today, if I send that email out, anyone that clicks that link is going to get tagged that they clicked on that link about lead magnets. So that helps me understand that they're probably really interested in that topic, okay? So in theory, okay, most of those people are probably beginner intermediate, right? Because a lot of advanced people have their lead magnets pretty concrete. So I can classify them, I can tag them in my system as beginner, intermediate, or advanced. All right, that's the easiest way to separate people by your list. Okay. Another great way to another great way to segment your list is by subject. Okay. So I just gave you an example. Not only can you clicking on a lead magnet make me feel like you're probably a beginner or intermediate, it's not always 100% accurate. We're not trying to be accurate. We're trying to just get some information, right? We can also separate. So if I send something out about, I'm doing a webinar about sales funnels, okay? Well, when I send the link out, I just tag it, sales funnel category. If you click that, I know your next step is probably going to be analyzing the data in your sales funnel. So then I need to go sell you that course, or I need to tell you that course is in our membership or whatever, right? Maybe you're interested in WordPress. Like if I say, hey guys, I got a free course on WordPress that you can click on and go get right now. If you click that link, I know you're probably learning how to set up your website for the first time. That does 2 things. I can add that to my beginner tags, or I can just be, hey, they've set up their WordPress, what's next, right? We'll probably avatar an offer. I need to tell them the next step is in the blueprint so they can go buy the thing, okay? Another great way to segment your list is by age. This one's harder with emails, but you can totally like do this in advertising. Like I can go into Facebook and I can click on all the people that follow us on Facebook, right? Or I can upload my email list and it will find all the people from my list that are also on Facebook. And then I can tell it to only show these ads to people between 25 and 35, between 35 and 45, or 45 plus, right? So age is a great way to segment. We do this all the time. Like I don't target ads at anybody under the age of 28 usually, okay? Because Forgive me if anybody is under 28 in here. You're the exception to the rule. You're special. You're here. You're proving me wrong. But I just don't want to deal with people who are under the age of 27 or lower, right? Like they're usually, they just don't listen, and they don't do what we tell them. And they've got everything figured out, and they haven't been punched in the mouth enough to realize that they need help. You know what I mean? So we don't even target our ads at anybody under the age of 28. So that's a great thing for ads, especially when you're segmenting. But if you can figure it out in your email list, it works really good too. And you can do that in different ways. For example, we know, most of your birthdays, like most of you, when you join the community, you get a thing that says, hey, what's your birthday? Well, Jocelyn does that, right? Because she wants to write you a handwritten card. That's why we ask for that. Some people freak out and they're like, why are you trying to do this? Trying to hack my passwords? What are you trying to do here? Trying to get my secret questions? What car did you drive when you were 18, right? Like, what's your mother's maiden name? Like, no, we're trying to figure out, one, so we can send you a birthday card. Two, it's so we know how old you are, right? Like, we understand that. We put it in our system and we can look up everybody that's a certain age or whatever, okay? So age is good. This is another big one that works really good in all niche markets is by success, okay? So in our success forum, like we see a lot of people, what's happening, right? Like, is Brad Gray here? Is Brad here this week? I think he might have had to work. Yeah, I think he had to work. So Brad had a recent success story. He was just on the, I don't know if it's out yet, but we just interviewed him for the podcast as well, where he ended up with like 115, 125 members or something like that. So his membership's really taken off. Like it's starting to grow. It's made it past that mythical 100 member mark, which is the magic number. Like that's when the really big things actually start to happen. But what we can do is we can go into our system and we can tag him in a category, 0 to 100 members. We can look at people who are 250 members and above. We can look at people 100 members to 250. And we use that information in our forums and everywhere else to try to make sure we understand like where everybody is. If I want to pull up Tanya or pull up Lori or pull up Jennifer, I can do that, and I can kind of get a feel in our system, like in Infusionsoft, kind of where you are in your business. That helps me, if I get in the forums, there's hundreds of people in there, and I can't remember who somebody is. I can do a quick search, look at all their posts, or I can open them up in Infusionsoft and just get a feel. Oh, they're from Ohio. They're from this. They've been there this long. Like they've been in the community for this long. Like I can start figuring that out. And by success is a huge thing. So you can do this by what they've purchased. Like that's an easy thing to do too. Like if they purchased my beginner course, they're a beginner. If they purchased my intermediate course, then they're, this. Or you can even name your stuff like this. Like I could name levels of our membership, 0 to 100 members. This is the standard plan, right? 100 to 250 members. This is the whatever plan. And if you have 250 members already or plus, we'll help you with it. I can name these things to kind of segment them, okay? You can segment your list by access to you, right? Right now, we have 4 categories of access to me and Jocelyn, all right? We have our standard plan, which is no access. I might randomly answer someone's question in the forums, but it is not, there's no access at all, okay? It's access only to our courses and only to the forums, okay? All right, there is the premium plan, which gives access to us twice a month on member calls, okay? There is the exclusive plan, which lets people email us once a week. They get an email where we check in on them for accountability, and they can write us back a question, and we go in and answer those within the next couple of days, okay? And then there's the live event, which is a whole different level of access. Like this is, you guys not only are hanging out with me live here, but you're gonna physically be in a room with me and Jocelyn in September, okay? So we categorize heavily by access. That's a great way to categorize for pricing and things like that. And you can do all kinds of different things. Like yours is gonna be different than everybody else's. How many kids they have, like do you care how many kids they have? There's gonna be things you care about. And someone asked, I saw in the chat a minute ago, like, how do you do this? How do you know all these things? How are you so accurate? Like we tag everything in our system, okay? We tag everything in our system. Steve, it's live. Basically what we do is I just tag all the links with categories. So if I think that a link will fit into a category, for example, I have 3 tags I have 3 tags for social media. I have YouTube, I have Facebook, and I have Twitter. I have 3 tags. I care if you're on my list, and those are really the only places I care if you follow me, okay? So if you click the YouTube thing, it'll tag you that you've clicked for the YouTube. I'm gonna assume that you've been to our YouTube channel. That's how I categorize like people that know about our YouTube. So when I send an email out that says, hey, got a new YouTube video, don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to exclude anybody that's ever clicked that YouTube link before because you know I've got a list. I don't want to bother you. I might have another email for you later. Okay. That doesn't mean I'm always looking at these categories, guys. I'm just categorizing as I go. And if I ever need to go back and find a category, I've got it. Like we have so many tags that I've never even looked at before. Every time we email out a podcast, I put a link tag, like they clicked on so-and-so's podcast, right? Okay. Shay's been on the podcast. I've got a link that says, if you ever click that link, I know you've watched that podcast. So if that podcast talked about something specific, right, I might be able to go back in and sell to those people. Okay, so I'm just tagging as I go, and I categorize on the fly later. Okay, and the best way to do category, don't do surveys and crap. Just send links. If you're using ActiveCampaign, I think Aweber does it now. Infusionsoft, Kajabi does it. I think you can tag all of your links, and you can create about 10 categories, and just categorize links as you go. And you can be like, wow, like for example, I know we've had it's like 1,200 people on our list have clicked Flip Your Life Live, right? They've at least shown some interest in going to that sales page and coming to this event, all right? So a lot of our marketing doesn't go to the whole list, right? It goes to those people. If I've got something like we're about to raise the price or something like that, I can easily go in and go, who's clicked that tag? Who's clicked that link over various emails? I always use the same tag, and I can pull it up and I can segment my list and I can only market to them. That's why I can send 5 emails a day and nobody knows it. Because some of you are getting this email, some of you are getting this email. Sometimes everybody gets the email, right? That's fine, that's cool, but like not all the time. Okay, segmenting is where you're really making a lot of money. That's where you really get to dial down and focus on people and really convince them to buy your thing. And if you're not segmenting, not your ads, I'm talking about your email list. I'm talking about the actual people you come in contact with. You do it. Yeah, your actual content is segmenting, right? If you have a page about, if we have a page about lead magnets and a lot of people are going there, all those people are definitely into about lead magnets. They just searched for something about it. So we can use the Facebook pixel and we can say, okay, everybody that goes to this page, let's show them this ad, right? And that's how you segment all your stuff, okay? So if you're plateaued right now and you're making some good money, you may just need to think about 3 simple segments of your list, or create some segments and think how you can market to them differently, right? I was actually talking to my mastermind this morning, and we were going over things to sell more tickets to Flip Your Life Live. That's my main focus right now, right? And we were just throwing some ideas back and forth about how to target, like how do we target members who aren't coming? How do we target non-members who aren't coming? How do we target non-members who've clicked the link compared to non-members who have never clicked the link? How do we target cold traffic, right? Like, what do we do there? And we were talking about ways we could cut up the audience into different messages. So we came up with like 5 potential ad campaigns as I was, banting back and forth with these guys. And, I got some good direction, got some good ideas out of it, but it's because we're going to segment up the list and I'm going to start marketing to them differently. Okay. All right. So I saw a question. Hold on. Y'all are killing the thing here. All right. Let's see here. Sippy. Hey, Shane, in a niche that is short-term breastfeeding for me, would you keep people on the list forever or boot them out at a certain point and keep finding new people? For that specific niche, this is very interesting because this is like a problem that can go away. Well, it's not a problem, but a situation, right? But people breastfeed for different amounts of time. I mean, there's people that breastfeed from 6 all the way to like 5 or 6 years old, right? So, there's lots of different people. So I would never take them off the list. But it would be good if you could send them an email immediately that had a thing that said, how old is your child? And it had 5 links, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. They click on it. Now I've got a free guide for each age. Like there's your content marketing because I know you're selling clothes, right? But you say, hey, I got a free guide specifically for breastfeeding at certain ages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? They click it, they go to a page, and you give them a little guide and then here's my clothes. This is what I sell, right? Okay, so they're getting their content and they're getting your clothes, okay? But now you know how their kid is, right? So you could set it up in a way where they could age out, or what happens after breastfeeding? Like, what are other things that people are breastfeeding are into that they might buy from you? That might be your next product, right? Emails don't get old. Emails don't go away. Emails don't stop buying things. The only reason your emails get old and stop buying things from you guys is because you stop selling to them. If you have an email, listen, I'm going to market forever to everyone on my list, even our members. Like, I want my members to keep paying me, or I want them to buy the next thing, which was the next live event or the next iteration of the membership. Like, right, we got our one. I'm about to open like 4 or 5 spots in our Voxer program. That's going to be going to the members. Members get first dibs at that. I don't even want people outside the membership, right? So I'm going to open like 4 or 5 spots in that. Like, why would I not let people do that? I actually do market that to past members, like people who have quit, because sometimes they quit because they went and they said, wow, I've got so many people now. Maybe I need help. I don't need what's in the blueprint. Maybe I need to talk to Shane. Well, I open that every 6 months or so now. So like then they can go into that. They may have left the membership, and I'm going to sell them something else and bring them back. Like, you can't just assume people grow out of your product. If they're not growing out of your product, you didn't give them they are growing out of that product, and you didn't give them the next thing, right? The thank you page is the sales page for the next step. Always write that down. Put it on your wall. The thank you page is the sales page for the next thing you sell. Okay? Always, period. Like, you don't just stop selling people stuff. Like, your business, like, for example, Jocelyn had elementarylibrarian.com. We sold the business, but before she sold the business, we had been doing it for 3 or 4 years. It had made a lot of money. We were doing great. We were getting actual percentage points of the market, like double-digit percentage points. Like, it was becoming a movement. Okay, when we sold the thing, but when we put it for sale, we didn't know if it would sell. So Jocelyn started thinking about doing middle school plans. She was ready to do the next product, right? We just happened to sell it before we did that. So you're always thinking, like, what's next for your avatar? Like, the best people to buy from you are people who have already bought from you, because you know they like you, and they know that your solutions work for them, and they know that they're willing to give you money for it. So you sell to them more than you would ever sell even to cold people, okay? All right. Chris says, I just started doing some segmenting on my list. Good. Again, I would not segment your list if you can't pay your mortgage with your online income. I don't know what you're making, but I'm just saying, like, don't start segmenting until you've actually gotten some market share. You actually got some people paying you, okay? Cynthia says, I struggle to just get 1 email out a week, along with all the other things I do. Your emails are too long and too complicated, okay? I can write an email right now in 5 minutes. I'll just link them to an old podcast. Hey, guys. Man, I'll do it. Right after I get done from here, you watch, I'm going to send an email to the whole list. Hey, guys, man, did you catch last week's podcast? It was awesome. I know I already told you about it on Tuesday, but I'm going to tell you again because I love this podcast so much. All right, click here. Bye. Like, you are way overcomplicating the emails then, because it shouldn't be that complicated. It's, here's what I'm doing now. Like, for example, make a theme day. Every Tuesday, I ask them to follow me on Facebook. So you post on Facebook and you link to it. Every Wednesday at Twitter. Every Thursday, Instagram. Every Friday, my new piece of content. Every Monday, hey, do you need any help with anything this week? Like, emailing is not hard if you don't make it hard, right? You don't have to have huge copywriting skills. You don't have to have epic blog post type things. Also, double up on some of your content. A lot of times, I'll go into Facebook and just have something on my mind, and I'll rant about it, and I'll just look down and be like, this would be a great email. And I just copy and paste it into an email and send it out, okay? So your expectations of yourself and what your email should look like are probably holding you back from helping your people and letting them know what you're doing, okay? You don't have to email every day either, guys. I just do that because I'm crazy. So, do it 3 times a week at least. All right, Jennifer, it really isn't hard to segment. I did it in Infusionsoft on my own. Good. Let's see. Oh, my God, I love that idea. Maybe your next product is stuff to lift those darn milk bags. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's see here. T-shirt. What needs a T-shirt? Laura, what needs a T-shirt? Tell me. I'll make a T-shirt on Teespring and order it. I do that all the time. Your thank you page is your next sales page. Boom. There you go. All right. Shane, what are your thoughts on working on 2 projects at the same time? Should I continue investing into project 1 or concentrate on breathing or release? If you're not making enough money to pay your mortgage and your car payment, you should only focus on one idea. Okay? Like, if you can't, if you're not making, that's what we consider real money. Like it's cool to make $500, right, online. If you're making $500, that's going to change the budget for your family. But man, when you can pay the car off, or you can pay the car payment, and you can pay your mortgage, you can pay your rent, things are really happening. That's when you're getting margin away from you and anybody else that can control your life. right? Because you're meeting your basic needs. So I would only focus on one idea. I do not like to focus on 2 ideas, especially if you're just starting out, okay? All right, so let's do some calls to action here real quick, wrap this thing up. Sorry about the audio problems today. My guess is my microphone wire or something is broken. I might fix this. I don't know what's going on. I assume it's not the internet, because why would this microphone work? I don't know. All right, so call to action. I want everybody to at least answer those questions I gave you today. What is the problem? Why do they have the problem? When do they experience the pain of the problem? How are they currently dealing with the problem, if at all, right? And if they're not dealing with it, fears and obstacles. That's what you got to figure out. What can you do to help them? And then you go into who is it? And you start getting into that avatar and into that product, okay? If you do not have your avatar and offer figured out, all right, if you don't have a product that you're selling, I want you to definitely watch the avatar and the product course. You need to watch them. You need to take the time, guys. The people that make the time make it happen. The people that don't. It's not, this is not rocket science. It really is not rocket science. It's just do it. Take the next step. Put in the work. Put in the effort. Like if you're going through the process and you think you can just hear me talk about avatars and stuff for an hour and a half, no, you need to go watch the course that's designed to help you figure yours out, right? You need to go decide what your product is going to be, and for the next 6 to 9 months, you're dedicated to getting that launched, okay? So do that. That's your call to action this week, is watch the avatar and offer training. Come back here next week, tell me what you've done. I'll post an avatar and offer thread in the Facebook group again. We had some great discussion in there too. Always telling everybody, post it in the forums as well. Activate the support network that you have in the Flip Your Life community. If you're a more advanced user, I'm going to say that anybody that already has, let's say you are already, you can pay your bills with your online business, right? Or you can pay your car payment and mortgage, either one, right? Whatever. If you can already do that and you're plateaued a little bit, okay, whether it's 100, 200, 400 members, I don't care. I want you to get out a pen and paper and segment your list into 10 groups of 3. Come up with 10 ideas of how, you can use some of the ones I went over today: skill, subject, age, kids, success, whatever. But come up with different ways. Maybe it's your products, right? Maybe it's the different things you sell. Maybe it's different things that they click on a weekly basis in your emails, okay? But I want you to come up with 10 groups of 3, right? So basically you come up with a group like skill level, and then you come up with 3 things: beginner, intermediate, advanced. You don't have to do anything with those yet. You don't have to go and create them. You don't have to send out emails to try to immediately segment your whole list. It's just getting yourself going forward, okay? 10 groups of 3 things, 3 items. Like if you say, I'm going to group my people by success, then you have to define the levels of success. For us, it's easy. 0 to 100 members, 100 to 250 members, 250 plus. That's the best metric we have of success, because we can predict income off of that, okay? It could be income. Like I could say, okay, what's success? All right, $1,000 a month. Level 2 is up to $3,000 a month, and the next level is over $3,000 a month. I could easily come up with 3 so the category, and then you're going to set your actual segments, okay? Kids, I want to segment my audience by the age of their children. So I want to know everybody in my audience who has 0 to 4-year-olds, 5 to 10-year-olds, 11 to 18-year-olds, right? So I came up with the category, and then I came up with my segments. Does that make sense? All right. So Jennifer, yours could be, for example, yours could be this. Like you could segment, because you have a physical brick and mortar yoga store, right? The yoga studio. So you could actually say people who have been once in the last 6 months, up to 10 times in the last 6 months, or up to 50 times in the last 6 months, or whatever. Like you could categorize by frequency of visit. Like that could be a great thing for you. Like you could do that. Does that make sense? It could be orders. Like if you sell physical products, it could be, all right, so I want to know all the people who've ordered less than 5 things, less than 15 things, or 20 or more, or whatever. I don't know how you say it, okay? So think about those segments in all the things you sell, whether it's brick and mortar, physical, digital, and come up with 10 new ones. Come up with 10 new ones. This is a thought exercise. This is what we do, man. We go into the gym with a pen and the pad, and we work our minds to figure out how to get to the next level. Like if you don't do the curls, you don't have the biceps, right? If you don't do the squats, you ain't got the quads. So you got to go you got to exercise this mind. I do this all the time. I carry around notepads. Jocelyn kills me because I buy so many notepads and I'm just writing constantly, but I'm not doing anything. I'm not really planning anything. I'm just exercising. Like, how can I sell things? How can I get more money? How can I get more customers? How can I help more people? What can I do? Right? Like that's what you got to exercise those muscles or they're not going to work for you. Okay. All right. So everybody's got their job, right? I'm going to go put an avatar and offer thread in here real quick that you're going to commit to. We're all going to commit to that. I'm committing to serving this avatar with this product, and it will be launched and marketed by Flip Your Life Live, or at least the end of the year. Okay. And then those of you who are more advanced, maybe you've hit a plateau or two. You're gonna think outside the box about how to segment your list and how to make it happen. Okay. All right. Great call today. I'm gonna wrap this thing up, and I'll probably be sitting at my computer for a little while. I'm gonna if you have any questions about lead magnets, okay, I will drop that link in here real quick in the chat. Okay. Let me go to this thing. I'm gonna take a break for a little while because I've just talked for an hour and a half and didn't even realize it. And then where's that thread at? Let's ask me a question about lead. I've already got 8 people that have posted. Sweet. I'm gonna drop this in here real quick. Consider this a Flip Your Life training exclusive-ish. Okay. Okay. Go click there. Make sure you're logged in. And if you have any questions about lead magnet, I'm going to start working on that at about 3 o'clock. So I'm doing a big series on lead magnets to flesh out all my ideas and then target a bunch of keywords. And then I'm going to turn it into a really, really good course on lead magnets. Like, I think that's the thing that's holding some people back in the community is they're not getting enough leads. So I'm going to work on this. Everybody else, pencil in your stuff. Go ask you a question about lead magnets, and I'll see you next week. I was looking at my calendar today. Next week will be at 12 o'clock again, and then hopefully I'll do another 9 p.m. after that, okay? This is kind of a secret group, so I usually don't send everything out until the day of, and I'm doing it manually. I'm actually doing it in real time pretty much. So, but the replays will all be right here. I'll move this one down as soon as we log off into session 2, and everything else will be good. So have a great day. Take massive action. Use this as accountability, and I'll see you here next week. All right, guys. Live your life.